Now that James Gunn has taken control of the DCU, he seems to be shaking a lot of things up. And that means some fan-favorite actors might not be returning to their roles. We're probably going to get a new Superman, even though Henry Cavill didn't really get a chance to fully explore the character. I mean, sure, he got to play the hero in a few movies, and the Snyder Cut for the Justice League gave us another taste of Cavill's portrayal.
Remember who you are. Tell me who you are.
But at the end of the day, there was still so much left for him to do. Cavill was Superman, at least in my humble opinion. He embodied everything that Superman was supposed to be. Along with being a super fan of the genre, which would have given him the ability to cater to other super fans around the world. So it's really unfortunate that Cavill won't be returning. But I guess James Gunn is being pretty ruthless about this whole, and that means that all options are on the table, because Gunn isn't looking to retread any old ground. Instead, he wants to forge a new path for the DCU, and having the poster boy for the old DCU playing your most iconic character just wouldn't have worked out. In a way, it makes sense that Gunn's looking to try something new. And I can't help but wonder who might be the next Superman, so I went searching for some clues, starting with what the upcoming movie is going to be about. Superman Legacy will show us a young Clark Kent. Not exactly Smallville young, think Superman the Animated Series young. Basically a Supes who's only just moved to Metropolis and has just gotten a job at the Daily Planet, which means we might end up seeing Clark meet Lois for the first time. And that wouldn't have made any sense if Cavill returned. But it's not looking like Legacy will be an origin story. If the rumors are true, Supes will already have full command of his powers, but that doesn't mean he'd already be Superman. We might see him come to terms with his new life and actually take responsibility for his powers. Given all of this, I don't blame Gunn for passing over Cavill. And now that I know the basic outline of the movie, I'm pretty sure about one thing: the next Superman actor won't be famous. At least, that's if Gunn's vision for the DCU is what I think it is, which is to say he wants to reboot the universe and start from scratch. Robert Pattinson showed the value of portraying young superheroes who are at the start of their journeys.
The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
Instead of having them already grizzled and jaded, which was definitely the case with Batfleck. And it was why a lot of fans kinda hated the original DCU. So if Gunn wants to breathe new life into the franchise, he'd obviously be looking for someone kinda young, someone not at all famous, someone who won't just play Superman, he'd be Superman. It'd make the universe way more immersive, and it'd preserve Cavill's legacy as well, because a new actor would be able to do something different without having to live in Cavill's shadow. I think I've made my case. The next Superman probably won't be a famous name, because Gunn wouldn't want anyone who'd become bigger than the franchise. He'd want someone whose career takes off because he got the part. But there's so much uncertainty out there that fans have been going crazy, with all sorts of rumors floating around about who might get cast as our next Superman. And one of those theories has gotten me kind of worried. There's a rumor floating around about a certain young actor, namely Luke Eisner. And if you have no idea who that is, don't worry, he's not exactly a household name. The only major thing he's been in was that Netflix show Tall Girl, which was about a tall girl, I guess. Who knows? Who cares? That's my point. The guy's a nobody, which actually makes him perfect for the part, but there's a problem. He might just be too perfect. Don't get me wrong, Superman is supposed to be good looking, but not in the way that Eisner is. The guy looks like a supermodel. And that's just not the kind of look we'd expect from the last son of Krypton. He's supposed to have more of an everyman vibe, albeit a buff everyman. Eisner's flowing golden locks are pretty out of character as well. Remember, Superman has black hair, which adds to his everyman charm. If we got a Supes that had the sort of lion's mane that Eisner's got, I have a feeling we'd get over it fast. So when I saw the rumor floating around that Eisner had already been given the part, not just being considered, but given the part already, needless to say, I was concerned. Until I heard the good news, James Gunn responded to a tweet about the rumor. It turns out casting hasn't even begun yet. And that's definitely something that gives me hope. I've got nothing against Eisner. I'm sure he'll have a great career. But casting happening so soon is never a good sign. It gives me rushing through production vibes, which never leads to good movies. So I breathed a real sigh of relief when Gunn cleared things up, replying to the tweeted rumor and confirming that they haven't gotten started with casting yet. That makes way more sense. The movie is still years away, so why on earth would they cast someone already? Although it'd be pretty funny if Eisner did get the part. Hope the guy doesn't hold a grudge. But it's more likely that this was just a random rumor. Some Twitter account thought it'd be funny to get people riled up, or maybe they were looking for some clout, and spreading fake rumors seemed like a good way to get it. Either way, Gunn has cleared things up, for now at least. But that leaves one huge question unanswered. Who could possibly step up to play Superman? It might end up being the casting call of the century, because who wouldn't want to play America's greatest superhero? The part can only go to one person, at least if we're talking about the main DCU and ignoring the bazillion side projects they're looking to launch. There are a couple of contenders who seem like they could make the cut, like David Corenswet, for example. You might remember him from The Politician, as well as a bunch of other stuff he's done, like the film Look Both Ways. Corenswet gives me some real old-school Hollywood vibes. He looks like a leading man from about 50 years ago. Not to mention, he looks almost exactly like Tom Welling, you know, the guy who played Clark Kent on Smallville. But that might be too much of a good thing. Gunn might not want someone that reminds audiences of an old Clark Kent. Remember, he's trying to build a whole new universe from the ground up. In fact, if Gunn's actually serious about his new and improved sales pitch, he might want to take Superman in a completely different direction, perhaps even by giving us our first black Superman. If Gunn's bold enough to go down this route, he could potentially go for Eli Goree, who played Muhammad Ali in a recent film called One Night in Miami and happens to be 6'4". He also has the look of a guy with strong morals. Don't ask me why, it's just how his face looks to me. Well, that's a question for another day. For now, I'll rest easy knowing that Gunn hasn't made any hasty decisions, and time will tell who'll get to play the world's greatest superhero in the next chapter. That was all you needed to know about James Gunn debunking the Superman cast rumors. See you in the next video.